Although I've done my best to blur out some of the more offensive imagery, please note this does cover horror films and viewer discretion is advised. Top 5 scary scenes from the 1980s. Number 5. With films such as Cujo, Carrie, and others, it's no doubt Stephen King was a force of horror in the 80s. Then we have Children of the Corn. This was a horror film released in 1984 based on a short story by Stephen King. This movie centers around a group of children in a small town who have formed a cult and worship a deity known as He Who Walks Behind the Rose. The story follows a couple, Bert and Vicky, who find themselves trapped in the town of Gatlin, Nebraska after encountering a young boy fleeing from the cult. They soon discover that all adults in the town have been brutally murdered by the children as part of their religious beliefs. The children follow the teachings of their charismatic leader, a boy named Isaac, and his enforcer, a ruthless teenager named Malachi. As Bert and Vicky try to escape, they face various dangers orchestrated by the children, who are determined to protect their way of life and sacrifice any intruders to their deity. The film delves into themes of religious fanaticism, the corruption of innocence, and the fear of the unknown. Children of the Corn gained a cult following due to its chilling atmosphere, disturbing imagery, and contrast between the innocence of children and their actions. The film is notable for its portrayal of the cornfields, which serve as an eerie backdrop and symbolize the isolation and confinement experienced by the characters. However, the scene that was chilling to me in the 80s comes early on in the opening sequence. As the story begins, we see the town's adults being brutally murdered by the children during a cult ritual. This scene, with its combination of violence and religious fanaticism, establishes the disturbing nature of the children and their devotion to their deity. Number 4. Before Chucky became a punchline and really leaned into the absurdity,
I can't think of a thing to say.
it was originally meant to be a little more scary. Child's Play is a horror film franchise that began with the original movie released in 1988. The franchise revolves around the iconic character Chucky, a possessed doll with the soul of a serial killer. Going back to the first film, a criminal named Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif, transfers into the soul of a good guy doll moments before his death. The doll, named Chucky, ends up in the possession of a young boy named Andy Barclay. As Chucky comes to life and embarks on a murderous rampage, Andy and his mother must fight to survive and stop the doll's reign of terror. Throughout the franchise, Chucky is known for his sinister doll appearance, including his red hair, freckles, and blue eyes. He is also recognized for his dark sense of humor and his knack for using various weapons to carry out his deadly deeds. Child's Play franchise is known for its blend of horror and dark comedy, centering around the relentless character of Chucky. It has garnered a dedicated fan base and continues to evolve with new iterations and stories within the world of the killer doll. However, I feel the scariest scene was the voodoo ritual from the original film. There is a scene where Chucky, still in doll form, performs a voodoo ritual in an attempt to transfer his soul into Andy's body. The scene is filled with suspense as Chucky chants incantations, surrounded by a dimly lit room with creepy dolls and occult objects. The atmosphere and the anticipation of what Chucky is about to do creates a sense of unease and fear.
Punch him!
Number 3. The Shining is a psychological horror film based on Stephen King's 1977 novel of the same name. Although the novel and the film are vastly different, thanks to the direction of Stanley Kubrick. The movie was released in 1980 and has since become a classic in the genre, known for its atmospheric tension, haunting visuals, and exceptional performances. The Shining has left a lasting impact on viewers. The film follows the Torrance family consisting of Jack, played by Jack Nicholson, Wendy, played by Shelley Duvall, and their son Danny, played by Danny Lloyd.
Red rum. Red rum.
Jack is a struggling writer who takes a job as the winter caretaker at the isolated Overlook Hotel in the Colorado Rockies. The family moves into the hotel, which is closed for the winter season, with the intention of Jack finding solitude to work on his writing. As the winter progresses, the supernatural forces present in the hotel begin to affect Jack's sanity, leading to a descent into madness. Danny possesses a psychic ability known as the Shining. However, this causes him to experience terrifying visions of the hotel's dark past. The film delves into themes of isolation, madness, the supernatural, and the destructive power of unchecked inner demons. The Shining has earned critical acclaim over the years, despite its initial mixed reviews on its release. It has been praised for its visual storytelling, complex characters, and its ability to unsettle and disturb audiences on a deep psychological level. The film's impact has led it to be regarded as one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Speaking of leaving a lasting impact, there are many terrifying scenes in the movie. However, in my opinion, the scariest is not the goriest or the bloodiest. I'm looking at you, elevator scene. But it was those dang creepy Grady twins. Danny encounters the ghostly Grady twins who invite him to come play with them forever and ever. This scene with the twins standing silently in the hallway is filled with atmospheric fear. It has become an iconic and unsettling moment in the film, and the way it flashes so quickly allows your mind to fill in the blanks and becomes very chilling.
Hello, Danny. Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Danny. Forever and ever and ever.
However, if you do pause it on the twins, it's not quite as scary. Number 2. Nightmare on Elm Street is a highly influential horror film franchise that began with the original movie released in 1984. Directed by Wes Craven, the film introduced one of the most iconic horror villains of all time, Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund. While there were lots of other scary movies and iconic monsters, for me, Freddy and Robert win. The franchise spawned multiple sequels, spin-offs, and even a remake. The first film follows a group of teenagers living on Elm Street, a seemingly peaceful suburban neighborhood. They all begin to experience haunting nightmares involving a disfigured man with a burnt face and razor-sharp gloves named Freddy Krueger. They soon discover that Freddy has the ability to kill them in their dreams, which also results in deaths in the real world. This right here is what makes it terrifying. It's in your dreams, so you have no control, at least until the sequel, Dream Warriors.
Okay. Let's dance.
The helplessness goes a long way to make it terrifying. Nightmare on Elm Street is known for its inventive and imaginative dream sequences where Freddy terrorizes his victims in surreal and nightmarish ways. The film explores the concept of dreams and fear of being helpless in a realm where anything can happen. It blends elements of supernatural horror, slasher tropes, and psychological suspense. Nightmare on Elm Street became a cultural phenomenon, launching Freddy Krueger into the pantheon of horror icons. One part that makes it fascinating is the backstory of Freddy Krueger. It's one thing to just have a random serial killer. Although the backstory varies a little bit, the backstory tells us that he was a groundskeeper at a Springfield preschool and he tortured and abused the teenage protagonist of the film when they were children. Because of this, their parents hunted him down and threw him into the boiler room fire. Wes Craven said it was inspired by two people from his childhood, a school bully named Fred Krueger and a gruff homeless man from his town. However, for me, the scariest moments are when Johnny Depp meets his demise and the bathtub scene. The bathtub scene is one of the most iconic and chilling sequences when Nancy falls asleep in the bathtub and Freddy's clawed hand emerges from the water between her legs. The tension builds as the water starts to bubble, signaling Freddy's presence beneath the surface. This scene is particularly effective in creating a sense of vulnerability and fear in an otherwise mundane setting.
Nancy? What, Mother? But I heard you screaming. You were calling me.
Number 1. Poltergeist is a classic horror film that was released in 1982 and produced by Steven Spielberg. The movie tells the story of the Freeling family who experienced a series of supernatural events after their suburban home is built on top of a burial ground. The film revolves around the youngest daughter of the Freeling family, Carol Ann, who begins communicating with spirits through their television set. This alone was pretty creepy at the time and made it disturbing when your TV had static on. As the paranormal activity intensifies in the house, objects begin to move on their own, and Carol Ann is eventually sucked into a dimension known as the other side. The family seeks help from a parapsychologist to rescue their daughter and understand the nature of the hauntings. Poltergeist is known for its innovative and chilling special effects, which were considered groundbreaking at the time. It combines elements of supernatural horror, suspense, and family drama. The film explores themes of the unknown, the power of the supernatural, and the lengths a family will go through to protect their own. I want to talk about the rating of this movie. This movie was rated PG. PG. Before there was a PG-13, it was rated PG. Meaning this movie could be played to unexpecting children in the middle of the day or on regular TV. And, at least for me, it was terrifying. And it became a commercial success, grossing over $121 million worldwide. And it also spawned 2 sequels, Poltergeist 2: The Other Side and Poltergeist 3 in 1988.
He's with us now.
And there was a remake, but we don't need to talk about that. For my scariest moment, it has to be this stupid clown doll. Robbie, the Freeling family's young son, is attacked by his clown doll. Now they build this up in a few scenes before where the clown doll just kind of moves a little, stares at him, but this time, the toy comes to life, strangles him, and drags him under the bed. This scene, with its combination of childhood innocence and supernatural horror, has become iconic and a fear-inducing moment in the film. So good night, kids. So that's our list. What scared you as a kid? And if you enjoyed yourself, we have more videos honoring the best decade ever. And of course, a like and subscribe would be haunting.
Fever, that's all.